Hey, this is Chris with Rekkid Talk. So I'm doing another episode of I Buy Old Rekkids. First of all, I would like to give a shout out to the YouTube channel I Buy Old Records, not Rekkids, but Records, which is done by a guy from Texas named Mack Stevens. And I recently discovered his channel and sort of binged on it. Apparently, his deal is that he's really into rockabilly. He's a musician. He's put out several rockabilly records. He's also a collector and a seller, and he has a channel that's basically mostly about his trips around Texas and nearby states when he's hunting for records. He specializes in 45s and 78s, so he's not really looking for the same stuff that I am. But I find him pretty entertaining. He's kind of a funny guy as he goes looking for records. And so a couple days ago, I went to the Peddler's Mall in my town, which is probably like the big indoor flea market, thrift store-ish, antique-ish mall sort of place that I go to. And I've gotten to the point where most of it is like sort of repeats. It's like, okay, I've seen this booth. I found every damn thing I would ever buy from this booth. The rest of these records I'm never going to buy again. But I was sort of Mack Stevens sort of inspired me to go look at the 45s in a little bit more detail. So that's what I did. There's also going to be some regular sized albums, and this is going to be sort of a mix of some really good cheap finds. The records I'm going to show in this video, I bought them for less than $10 total. And there's also going to be some heartbreak in that there are a lot of cool records that were just too bad of condition to buy. So first, let's talk about the 45s. So here is one of the success stories. So this is the J.L. Giles Band, Centerfold. The flip side is called Rage in the Cage. And so you see it's marked A57 there. Apparently this used to be Raymond Lee Burnett's record, number 57. So he kept, I guess he was very anal about his records. And so that is something I picked up, and a couple other 45s I got. Neither of these were sleeves. And one of the things that Mack Stevens does is he can pick up like the big stacks of the records in the sleeves and flip through them really quickly, and I can't. So I got a couple Billy Joel 45s. So this is sometimes a fantasy, and the flip side is All for Lena. All for Lena is really a great song off of Glass Houses. Then off of, I think this is off the Nylon Curtain, we've got Allentown, and the flip side is called Elvis Presley Boulevard. And apparently I found out that sometimes a fantasy on the 45 is a slightly longer version than the one on the Glass Houses album. If you care about such things, sort of the misses, the heartbreaks, I found a couple of Aretha Franklin 45s, a couple James Brown 45s. That would have been nice, but they were just in too bad of condition. One of the James Browns was completely cracked, and so that was kind of a disappointment there. Then I also found a booth with a new vendor with albums. And so the top album was an Elvis Presley album, the one in the front, for $1. And the thing is that you never see Elvis Presley records for $1 around here. Even the dimmest sellers know that certain bands like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, that you can mark up for those. And so I was suspicious because it's like, if you see like a good desirable record, not like one of your standard, oh, there's another Andy Williams, there's another Montavani Orchestra, but you see something that's actually somewhat desirable selling for $1, you're immediately suspicious that it must be in terrible condition. And that was certainly true about the Elvis Presley record. There was a Woodstock with all 3 discs, all 3 of them totally thrashed. Michael Jackson Thriller, somebody I think was practicing being a DJ with that record. There was a Beatles Revolver for $1. Never see Beatles records for $1. Media P, cover F. Yeah, it was terrible. Sly and the Family Stone Greatest Hits, again in terrible condition as well. But I ended up picking up 5 albums, $1 each for a grand total of $5, that I thought were, I mean, they're all VG at best, but these were all ones that I thought I could clean up with my record cleaning machine, and it seems to have been a success. So we have a couple of ZZ Top records. We've got ZZ Top Tejas, and we've got ZZ Top Eliminator. And so I went from having 0 ZZ Tops on vinyl to 2. So Frank Zappa's no longer the last record in my rock section. And you might notice that the ZZ Top Eliminator still has the original price tag, $7.97, and it was bought at a Kmart. And then also, and so that Eliminator was still in the shrink. This John Cougar Mellencamp still in the shrink. It still has the hype sticker featuring Lonely Old Night, Small Town, Rain on the Scarecrow. So the Scarecrow album, this one was a cent cheaper, $7.96. ZZ Top $7.97. This one was bought at Walmart, so I guess you got a penny off at Walmart compared to Kmart. And this one cleaned up and played really nicely as well. A couple others, and again, I just got these yesterday. These couple I haven't even played yet, but we've got the Cars, Heartbeat City. It's maybe not the most desirable of the Cars records, but for $1. And again, I haven't played that one yet, but based on the John Cougar Mellencamp and the ZZ Top's playing fine, I think it'll be fine. And then this one, the cover's pretty rough, but the disc actually seems to be pretty good. So it's John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Double Fantasy, of course, John Lennon's last album. Obviously, you can see a lot of ring wear. The corners are pretty sketchy on this one. You can see the wear on the back cover. The record was super dusty, but once I cleaned it, I think that's pretty good. And it was only $1. These were the 5 records. These were the best 5 of these dollar records. And again, these were a lot of sort of desirable classic rock sort of things that you usually don't see in the dollar bin. If people have them in antique malls, they're charging more, or they're in an actual record store. But these were the ones I felt had the best chance of cleaning up and playing nicely. And again, so between the 345s and the 5 albums, I paid $9 and some cents, less than $10 for the whole spiel. So I buy all the Rekkids, just like Mack Stevens does. I even buy some 45s. I never buy 78s, though. So I'll talk to you another time.